Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. It's just us today. Just the guys that need to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, truth be told,
The original coochie cutters.
You know what? That rattled me. I haven't. Do people know that?
That was supposed to be the name of A Corporate Time.
Let's quickly tell this story because we have a guest on the line.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste his time, but I also don't want to tell this story where he can hear it. The original name of this show was The Coochie Cutter. Complete with a logo that was a woman's rear end in said coochie cutters and a dripping ooze logo.
Yeah.
I made that drunkenly in the back of the COO's rental car driving from Seattle to Portland. Orlando City COO, by the way. We were working with Orlando City at the moment. Line one?
Yep.
I'll let you do the honors, sir.
So on the line with us right now, we haven't talked to this gentleman in a little bit. I know we checked in at the beginning of this whole pandemic.
We did, but this guest he's the number one most requested person via email that I've received. People just want to hear his voice. They want to hear what he has to say about COVID, what's going on in the world. And Tom, take it away.
Jim Phillips is on the line with us. How you doing, Jim?
Pretty good, guys. How are you?
Good. Hey, thanks for taking some time. So I guess number one question from everybody is, what does Jim Phillips think about everything going on with COVID?
Well, remember the last time I was on with you guys, I think I said, don't pay attention to politicians, pay attention to scientists.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, what's happening. If you're toothaches, who do you call? Your dentist or your mayor?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here's a perfect example, especially for these so-called anti-maskers, that don't tread on me types, who are out there. You say, okay, just for instance, here's an example for these anti-maskers. Say you got a pain in your stomach, a real deep pain. You're going, oh my God, it feels like I swallowed a railroad spike.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. So you go to your general practitioner. Your general practitioner says, we got to send you to a specialist. You go to the specialist and he does an MRI or whatever. He says, holy Christ, we got to open you up. I'm sending you to the emergency room. Go in there right now, blah, blah, blah. You go in there, they wheel you in, said, oh my God, we're going to take you into the surgery. We're going to have to open you up and see what's going on. We can't tell what's going on. We're going to have to open you up. Surgeon comes in, licking his fingers, and said, I'm sorry I'm late. I just had the trots. I just got out of the bathroom. I'm sorry I'm late. You don't mind if I don't wash my hands or I don't wear a mask, right? You'd freak out.
Yeah, you
You'd
would.
absolutely freak out. These people are out there. People who are anti-maskers are what I term a man-child.
Yeah.
All they're looking for is for your disapproval. They're like kids who want to piss off their parents and just get their disapproval.
Yeah, I've never seen more and whether you're an anti-masker or whatever you are, I don't think I've ever seen, at least in my adult life, I've never been at a point where I see people that seemingly, just like what you're saying, openly want to make people angry. Like they want the confrontation. They almost welcome it in a strange way. And I certainly don't get scared of confrontation. It's not something that I'll run from, but it's certainly not something I want to start. So I find it's just weird to me because regardless of where you stand, I wasn't raised to be the type of person where I wanted to start conflict.
Yeah.
Well, they confuse, in my estimation, they confuse individualism with rights. I always like to hear them say, "Well, it's my constitutional right." Whenever someone like that says something to me, I say, "Where were you a clerk?" And they go, "What? Oh, who'd you clerk for?" And I go, "What are you talking about? What Supreme Court justice did you clerk for?" Because it sounds to me like you're a constitutional expert. These people wouldn't know the Constitution if the ghosts of the Founding Fathers dropped it in their lap.
Jim, I know we spoke a little bit about this last time we talked to you, but it seems now more than ever, and you've obviously, I'm interested to hear your take on it, just because you've been in the media for so long and you've seen so much. But now more than ever, like no one can really disseminate the information that they're getting to them. For instance, and I'll say on all sides in everything, it's just so much garbage out there that I think even a reasonably intelligent person can't understand what they're,
it's
being
difficult
bombarded
to source
with
stuff. Yeah.
For instance, and I will say that I'll keep track of the news to see what's going on, even though we don't really talk about it too much on the show. But like the Sweden story, like I systematically watched from the beginning. Like, Sweden, they took a different approach than a lot of other countries. They were kind of like, we're going to, leave it up to the people to decide whether they're going to be open or closed. And everybody, can socially distance themselves if they want to, but we're going to leave things open. We're not going to shut things down. Anyway, and I saw a bunch of different stories, and even up to like last week, them condemning Sweden and like, it looks like they did it the worst way, blah, blah, blah. Like a story on like CNN or something like, I believe it was CNN, like condemning them. And then I saw another story recently saying it looks like, they are doing the right thing, and they maybe reach a herd immunity. Their economy still suffered just as much as everybody else.
So your question is, how do you vet that? Like, how do you know which is the correct truth?
And then, I know stories and things change, and you have to like understand that. Like sometimes things do change, and what we thought was happening 2 weeks ago is then maybe different now. But people are being bombarded with every single different crazy story, and they don't know what to believe. What do you tell people, Jim? Like, how do people get the right information or form an opinion based upon all the stuff they're bombarded with?
How do you get facts?
Well, number one, we lost somewhere along the line, I don't know why, I'm still working on it, but we've lost our ability to engage in any kind of critical analysis. I am now convinced that in any society, 30% of the people are functionally illiterate. They're just stupid. They're just, so you have to just discard them. Number two, you got to get off Facebook. You got to get off Facebook. The way you have to work at this. If you want to learn something, you have to work at it, and you have to trust individuals and institutions that are set up to vet information and to vet facts. I mean, if you just got some guy who's blah, 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 and he puts it on Facebook and you believe it, well, that's just being stupid. You go with those institutions that have a history, not to say that they get it right all the time,
right,
but they have a history of vetting information and editing information and double-checking information. And then you have to find those institutions and use several of them along the way. Now, I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the world, but I'll read the Wall Street Journal, which is to the right. I'll read the New York Times, which is to the left. I check this. Especially print. Institutions that have long histories in print are the ones who I trust, because I think they're more professional than anybody else. I think they do a better job.
Yeah, and there are a series of checks and balances that they have. I also love that we live in a time where information is almost too easy to be shared. Jim brings up an excellent point. In fact, our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live right now, are basically echoing and agreeing with him, saying the best advice they've heard since this thing has started is from Jim saying, get off Facebook. It doesn't really help you. It's not going to help you. I have an email address. But right now, think about how easy it is to share something. What I mean by that is, like, it used to be if I wanted to share an article I read with Tom, I'd have to actually go physically to you and go, here's the copy of that article I wanted you to read. But now, if I get a garbage article from, let's say, like Newsmax or like the Daily Patriot or something like that, you can just click share, and you've already sent it to 5,000 people. It's crazy fast.
Without reading it, most people just
without
read the
reading
headlines.
it, correct. That's the punchline, right?
And Jim, I've been making a joke about, like, people in society, they don't stop and listen to the homeless guy on this corner of the street yelling craziness next to a shopping cart. They just walk right by him and don't engage because they realize, like, oh, this person maybe is suffering from mental illness and he's agitated, and what he's yelling I shouldn't really pay attention to.
In a basic sense, where's his credibility? Right?
Yeah. Like, his credibility is visual in most people's minds. Now, whether what he's yelling is correct or not, but most people
Could be.
dismiss it because they've done the math and they're like, oh, crazy person on the side of the street yelling. But on Facebook, the same person could be
same thing.
And then you don't see the context of like, oh, this person's mentally ill, or maybe the lesser intelligence,
or ignorant, or not smart,
or whatever it is. The same thing is like when you're at your family reunion and you listen to your Uncle Randy tell about his conspiracy theories about how the government is, chemtrails and whatnot. It's like you dismiss that easily at the family reunion, but when it's happening on Facebook, you seem to either engage or believe this person, but based on it's the same person,
right?
And I don't think our society is ready to deal with how social media is influencing us, and then we're seeing the direct results of it.
Jim, do you engage on social media in any fashion whatsoever?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's why you sound so calm.
No. I mean, it's not. Now, where I get crazy is I'll read certain websites, whether it's the Washington Post or whether it's the New York Times, the comment section. Now, some newspapers have dropped their comment section.
They have, yeah.
Orlando Weekly has, Orlando Sentinel has, but others, and I read that and I get caught up in it because I'm just looking for somebody who says, oh yeah, you really dug at him. Well, you really got back at him, didn't you? I mean, it's just, and then after reading about 30 of those, I go, why am I reading these things? I'm just looking for someone who confirms what I believe. That's all that's going on.
Yeah.
When you read those comments, this is this whole virus thing. I'm now convinced that human beings are a mutation. We have a virus that's affecting human beings, and I think the planet itself, if you can visualize this somehow, my theory is the planet, like George Carlin in his routine said, the planet will be fine. Whatever, the planet's been around for 4 billion years. Yeah. Human beings have been here for, 100,000, 200,000? And the modern industrial area has been engaged for about 250 years. The planet will be fine. I think we're an invasive species. I really do. I think human beings are an invasive species. For some reason, are here to do something, and sooner or later we'll go the way of the dinosaurs. I actually believe this, and the planet will be fine. The planet will still revolve around the sun and continue for billions and trillions of years to go around the planet. We'll be long gone.
Yeah,
I think. If there's a plan.
I hope so, Jim.
Well, you probably know this, but there's a lot of theoretical physicists that believe that's why we haven't found any other intelligent life forms, because there's the theory that everybody gets to a point where they make themselves extinct through one way or the other, and they can't get past whatever that thing is. They get to a point where they eradicate themselves because of their own intelligence, and they end up screwing it up or whatever.
Well, I mean, the Carlin routine is, what is our purpose in life? Our purpose, what was our purpose? Our purpose was what? To make plastic? Well, we've done our job. We've done our job, and the earth says.
And we did it really well too, didn't we, Jim?
Thank you. I needed the plastic. I couldn't do it myself. The human beings were developed, and they created this plastic and left this plastic exactly what I needed, meaning the earth. And now it's time for you to go. I don't need you anymore. It's time for another species of life to take over.
Yeah. Now, in a little bit more of a, let's say, a more positive spin.
No, I like Negative Jim Monday.
I know you love Negative Jim Monday, but we have limited time in the Twitch.
Look, I'm a cynic. I'm placed here on this planet to keep everybody else in line. All the people with good feelings and the people who have positive attitudes. That's why cynics exist. They're like atheists. We're here to keep the believers in line.
I think some would say that the cynics, though, less annoying than the atheists, or vegans too. You got to throw it all in there. Yeah. Jim, real quick, any new hobbies that you have going on, and how are your crows and your crow calls? And last time we checked, you were, I guess, trying to get.
I gave up on that. Every time I got out there to give a crow call, they'd fly away. So I gave up on that.
Oh, damn it. Because I know
Right.
last time they brought bits of string and they were trying to pepper their gifts.
And
But
I don't know. I must have done something wrong, because they don't arrive anymore. They gave up on me, so I gave up on them just to show them.
Do you have any new hobbies or anything
Yeah.
you're doing to kill the time right now?
Has your routine been the same since the last time we talked to you? You still
Well, I mean, like everybody else, you watch everything on YouTube that you can handle.
Yeah.
I did Parks and Recreation because I never saw that, so I went through that.
What'd you think of that?
I loved it.
Yeah, it's good.
Then I'm into Deadliest Catch because I'm trying to observe the difference between work and labor because there is a difference between the two.
Okay.
I watched that and I go, I can't believe. I mean, that's insane what those guys do. Watch all the Bill Burr concert series. I don't, who Bill Burr is.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. I've been to 2 of his concerts and watch them. So, and then last night I spent an hour watching Major League Baseball's best clearing of the dugouts. Where they come out to fight.
Yeah.
I was there for like 60 or 90 minutes just watching on YouTube. They're clearing the dugouts and coming out and slugging each other.
There you go.
Jim's getting YouTube fight holes.
We were just talking about what was my wife and I last night on YouTube. Probably while you were watching baseball fights, my wife and I were on YouTube watching newscasters going down slides. Because notoriously they'll go down slides at like the county fair, and there's thousands of these videos, and they go down so fast, Jim, that they end up getting themselves concussed, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I watched that and I said, well, what's next? And I said, okay, Major League Baseball's best throws from right field to home plate. So I sit and watch an hour of that.
Jim,
this is where we're at now, Jim.
I don't want to get back to negative, Jim. But
no, do it.
I do want to hear.
You just have to pepper in some baseball, Jim.
So, Jim, I'm sure you thought about this, and I've been thinking about this lately, of how this is going to shape the new landscape of our society, probably moving forward. And
it's already shaping media too. I mean, think of all the different types of entertainment or whatever you want to call it that have been either eradicated or stopped or on hold.
So, and this got me thinking about how we've done things for so long. Like, even if we rewind past, and this, like during World War II, all the men went into fight. The women went out into the workforce. It kind of changed society because we had to change. They needed someone to do these jobs.
Yep.
So women stepped up and took over, and then it kind of forced society to be like, oh, well, women can do these jobs too. And that was like the catalyst for a big movement in the United States. Now, this huge change where everybody gets on the same page, or at least like, hey, we got to do things. So this is going to cause and shape our future. And I know that when we have a vaccine and and it takes a couple years to distribute and stuff like that, but I think we're going to see residuals from this, and we have to. Like, people's mindsets change over a small period of time.
Well, one of the things
small.
I see is the eradication of the office building. I think that's done.
Yeah. And people are talking about, like, gone are the days of businessmen even traveling across the country for business meetings. Well, I would do it all virtually. Like, this will be the catalyst to most things becoming more virtual and a more virtual society, and the internet gonna being more a part of our society because it's for more online shopping, less malls, blah, blah, blah. Have you thought about, like, what the future could
What
be?
will change?
No.
Perfect. This is the longest question I've ever asked, by the way.
At my age, my purpose is to wake up in the morning. And if I wake up in the morning, I say this. It's just I knock wood. It's glorious. You get to a certain point in your life, really, at least in my estimation, we're just okay. I'm happy to be alive. I don't give a lot of thought to the future because I'm not going to be here in the future. So, well, what's society going to be like in about 20 years or 30 years? And to be honest, I don't care too much because I won't be here in 20 or 30 years. I mean, that's just a fact, And I'm a firm believer. I really am a firm believer in new blood and fresh blood, and allowing young people to go forward with their ideas, and for people who, maybe I've got a little bit of wisdom, or people my age have a little bit of wisdom, but people my age a lot of us are full of crap too. And just kind of step aside and say, it's your turn. It's your turn to clean up the mess that we created.
Yeah.
And you bring up a good point with that, because I do think there's a pretty big divide in people that have grown up without even the, thinking about the internet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the internet was in their lives, but I'm saying like growing up with it. And then now you have the, obviously the generation that grew up with it. And I think those two mentalities are so far apart, because you got a generation that grew up with, they had to, go to the library and read things in books and stuff.
Yeah.
And now
that's how I grew up. There's an inherent comfortability that I see kids have now.
And you're mixing with a generation that always grew up with every piece of information they could possibly want or don't want in front of them at all times. And I think that there's this divide. Obviously, we see it, and you're right. It's like it's hard for someone that in their late 60s, early 70s to even comprehend how it is to live with growing up through the internet and stuff, and and that's creating a big problem. I mean, but you've seen this throughout your entire life, Jim. There's always been the generational divides that have that cause problems.
Or is this the worst one you've seen?
No, people say, "Oh, I've never seen the country so divided. I've never seen the country so angry at one another. I've never seen." That's absolute BS. And all you have to do is be around 1966, 67, 68, 69, and 1970. You want to do a little bit of historical perspective. Do a Google search on the Hard Hat riots of, I think it was May 5th, 1970, to see how violent this country was because of the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement. This country was upset, a lot more upset than it is nowadays. Not to say that things are peaches and cream nowadays. I mean, they're not. It's not good. But it was. I don't think it was nowhere near. We've had these rifts and riots and social upsettings throughout the history of this country. Some not as severe as maybe now, but some as severe and maybe more severe than what we have now. We have institutions that hold and kind of wobble a little bit, but they hold. But for anybody to say, "I've never seen it this bad," "Oh, this is terrible," then you don't know anything about history. And if you don't know anything about history, as they say, you'll repeat it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Jim, I think I'd love to jump on the phone with you and talk to you.
Yeah. You always say like we should get at you more, but then we feel like we're bothering you because you when you say you're gonna fade and not do anything, you are the only person I know, Jim, that actually does it right. Yeah. Like you just go away and you do your thing and nobody hears a peep about it. Everybody else says, "Oh, I'm going to go away," and then they never go away. They never.
Well, somebody asked me the other day. I mean, do you miss not being on the radio? And I said, "Well, I miss the paycheck is what I miss." Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I earned a healthy paycheck, but I made a lot of money for that radio station as well. I mean, it wasn't anything like, "Oh, thank you for giving me these big bags of Scrooge McDuck money." The fact is, I made them a lot of money, and I said, "I make you money, you give me money."
That's the deal.
I don't miss it. I think about it every day, but I don't miss it. Yeah. If that makes any sense. Every single day, in some form or fashion, I think about, because I was 50 years behind the microphone, 30 years doing a talk program. Why wouldn't I think about it?
Sure.
But I wouldn't be able to do what is now required of people in that business. The Facebook and the tweets and the this and the that and whatever. I would not be happy doing that. I would not be happy.
And trust me, from people that actually
I saw
do
you in
it,
a meeting,
we don't
mad
like it.
back in the day, Jim. And I remember laughing because they were trying to explain in a meeting. God, I forgot what they were. They're like, "You're no longer broadcasters. You're
content creators."
And then Jim's like, "F that, I'm a broadcaster." and then everybody in the room, you're like, I think you were like, I'm a broadcaster. I'll be a broadcaster. Then you left, and then I was laughing my ass off. Like, you get them, Jim. You get these corporate idiots.
Well, it was like, I'm a radio broadcaster. If I don't do my job as a radio broadcaster, my tweets and Facebook postings, they don't mean anything because we won't exist.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to survive. I would not be happy at all because I'd be required to do all that stuff I'm not interested in doing.
Oh,
I was interested in getting behind the microphone, and whether it was my alter ego or whatever it was, speaking my mind and doing my thing. But all the other stuff seems to me gratuitous and not something I'd be interested in. And not to take anything away from people who are doing fantastic work. I know all the people who are working at that radio station, and
take it away, Jim.
they
don't deserve it.
They're super qualified and super professional and very, very, very talented.
No, they are, but I agree with you, Jim. You got to remember too, there are guys like us that still do the tweets and the social media, and
well, I wasn't putting you guys.
No,
in
we
there.
don't want to do it. I wanted to
Jim.
Jim. I wanted to tell you straight up, I don't want to do it, man. I don't. I hate it.
I
hate it so much.
Yeah. Oh, could you imagine Jim? He has to start it before the show. You have to address everybody. He's like, "Hey, Trucker 69." And
then you got a camera on you all the time, Jim. And then you got a tweet that you're on camera, and then it's terrible.
No interest.
It's terrible. Don't ever do it.
Well, yeah.
No. There's no chance I'll be doing that.
Well, we love you, man. We love having you on the show, and we'll check back in. I'll shoot you an email. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Find out a few more YouTube fight things that you like watching.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a segment with Jim called Jim's YouTube Hole.
Yeah.
And he tells us about what he fell into.
We'll call it Jim's
baseball
Hole.
fights.
And Jim will bring us the new thing he fell into on YouTube, and then we'll go, because I know what I'm watching tonight. It's going to be baseball fights.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anytime.
Well,
thanks,
take
Jim.
care of yourself and give the family some love, all right?
You got it. Same to you.
All right, man. Take care.
Easy.
All right.
Oh, I cut him off.
Oh,
he won't be
no.
on again. Oh, now I've done it. I love talking to the guy. There is something naturally, but I love the don't care. And that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that meeting. Yeah, content creators. Loud, he says it.
Yeah.
I don't have cojones to do that.
No. To me, I was like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Who cares?
And then we got to a
None
point
of
where
us
we
have
just you have to sign in to prove that you're at the meeting, and then we just decided to get on the elevator.
Yeah.
All the way down. All right, we got to take a break. We got all kinds of voicemails to get to, all kinds of emails to get to. We promise we will bring Jim Phillips back again, because I'm watching the chat room just exploding with people saying.
I'm telling you, once a month, what's Jim watching on YouTube?
We'll YouTube with Jim.
Yeah. That's good enough.
Call Pariah Mike. We need the intro.
Oh, I got a list of intros.
It's too many intros. I'm glad
it's like 18 intros.
I was laying in bed. 18 inchers.
18
oh my God!
Well, that's a new segment. 18-incher intro.
I'm so perverted that you said 18-incher, and I was like, where? I wanted to freeze and look at it. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and do some more corporate time with Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Our app is fixed. I know last week I had mentioned that if you are a BDM member, or if you subscribed as a paid member to tomanddan.com, that we're having some issues with the database. Well, that has been all patched up and fixed due to our good friends at Mako Media.
Yeah.
Brett and his team, I'll just give them a shout out. If you ever need anybody to help you out, I've had some people in the Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomandDanLive, reach out to me. I will toss their name from here until the end of time, because their customer service is top-notch.
Yep.
They will reply to your email within 10 minutes time and get you patched up, and that's Mako Media. I think they also work with a news junkie, which is always
Yes.
nice. If you want to, speaking of the app, if you want to leave us a voicemail message, you can do so. Snag our app, totally free. Wherever you get your apps, just search Mediocre App or Tom and Dan, and it'll pop right up. All of our stuff is on there. All of our content, ACTs, Uncensored Friday Free shows, your BDM shows, and you can leave mediocre messages like these. Now, some of these did not convert right, so I'm just going to have to go in here and do a little, I can do it while I'm playing it. So let's go with, this one's kind of gross.
No.
Hey, Sam, Tom, Dan, and Butler. It's Christina from Oklahoma. I had 2 funny things to tell you. One of them is that I went to a little staycation with my husband. We live near Oklahoma City, so we wanted to go swimming in a pool. It's been super hot here, and I'm talking like 100 degrees.
I hate the term staycation.
I know.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate the people that use it. I don't know why I hate it. And I even use it. I just don't. My wife will be like, staycation. And I'm like, oh, staycation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to.
Nerdy.
Because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to hate everything that everybody says. But I find myself hating everything that everybody says.
It's like if you are doing something very exciting at that moment, screaming, yippee. It's like stupid.
It's stupid.
I don't,
Yeah.
The staycation, yippee. Stupid.
I don't think I've ever said yippee, but that's a good one, too.
But someone said, like, why would I hate it? Like, the person's just showing their
expressing joy.
Yeah, you're saying yippee. I just don't like it.
Now, see, I knew this was going to happen. The Twitch chat room is thinking that you, in your ultimate hating fun, because you're Mr. Hate Fun, they think that you are now rubbing off on me, and that's why I was like, I hate staycation. And I'm like, see, he's doing it.
Yeah. That's fine.
We'll continue.
Listen, you know.
Look, it makes our relationship better if
he gets hate, I get anxiety.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's symbiotic, right?
7 degrees.
Nothing good.
So we just took the dogs, got in the truck, and just went to a hotel with really cold air conditioning and just watched trash TV and like swam all day. Well, the bathroom light was really loud when I turned it on because it was like a fan. So I didn't want to turn it on, and I went to brush my teeth.
I'm going to dig through this voicemail.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's going to take a bit of time. I hate fan light combos. Sorry, another thing I hate.
Fan light?
Yeah, they got to be either or. They can't be fan light. They can be fan and they can be light, but they can't be fan light.
In the bathroom?
No, because I'm with her. I don't like you turn on the light and it's go.
Yeah. You turn on the fan when it needs the fan.
Yes.
Where it stinks. Or you're about to do, you turn on the fan. But fan light is like, I don't need the fan on when I'm going number one or just in there.
I don't think the fan is for number ones, and I don't even think the fan is...
or whatever else you do.
I don't even think the fan is for do particles. I think the fan is purely there for plopping sounds.
Oh, okay.
For ploppage.
Yeah, for plopping.
Yeah, I think it's for plopping.
Yeah, sounds, farting, fart plopping.
Like sometimes my wife will go into the bathroom adjacent to the kitchen, which, now that I think about it, should have a sign on it that says no number 2, right? Because it's near the kitchen. But she'll go in there, and I'll go, fan! Because I don't want to hear any plopping. Because in my world, she don't plop.
Yeah. I don't want
to hear anybody plop. My daughter, I don't want to hear you plop.
I don't even want to see my wife sitting on the toilet. That's a
girls think we want to see that. Remember when Jenny McCarthy did the ad for Candy's shoes, where she was like coy and on the toilet, like, oh look, I'm just a girl on the toilet.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. And I think that's her trying to push back against guys being disgusted about
I don't want to see guys on the toilet. This has nothing to do with being sexist.
No.
I don't want to see
anybody on the toilet.
I don't want to see Zac Efron nude on the toilet. I don't want to see it.
Yeah. In fact, I'll make my wife, if I, like, every once in a while, I'll get in there, no toilet paper. And I'm like, God!
Yeah, I hate it.
And then, so I'll make my wife
I usually
send the boys.
I get a pair of my wife's socks. I was like, I'll teach you. No, I'm kidding. I don't do that.
But I'll be like, send the boys. Like,
No,
can't see me like this.
Yeah, I'll get Maisie to do it.
And the boys will come, and that's fine.
And she'll be like, what's wrong, Tata?
Yeah. I'll show my weaknesses and expose my grossest positions to my boys only.
Grossest position? What are you doing in there?
I'm saying my boys
My
can see
God.
it. That's fine. I'm their old man.
Well, you know what? Now I don't think they're quite as soft if they come into you while you're going, because I have to go in after you here.
Yeah.
And if your boys see you during, then you know what? Hats off to you for toughening them up a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd ever subject them to something so horrible as full sweet beans.
Also, if the local Marriott Suites by your house is nicer than your house, you got to do something about that, bro. That's a problem. Because I've thought about this. Well,
I think she's in an area where air conditioning wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like a lot of, and it's weird to us.
I'm not talking about
Andrew
her.
and I were talking about this because, like, in Florida, like, we don't know what it's like to not have air conditioning.
Yeah.
You know, like at all times.
Yeah,
like in December.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you live up north, you may or may not have AC, and then of course the novelty of being in a super cold hotel room is different. But I'm talking about, like, I remember when my house was worse than the local, like Marriott or like the suite. What is the other?
Well, you're not talking about a fancy. You're talking about like a Days Inn.
Like, yeah, the Days Inn,
the Red Roof Inn.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but not
the Luray Motel.
Not the motels. I'm talking about, like, you go into a hotel, you're like, ooh, this is nice, and then it's like a flat screen TV. It's inside the.
That's like a
courtyard
by Marriott.
Yeah, courtyard Marriott. If your house is not as good as, like, if you walk into a courtyard Marriott and be like, ooh, I would like to hang out here for a while because it's
like,
nicer than your living room.
And you say this phrase, "Oh la la," then
you gotta change your life, because
you just gotta get to work.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people they and I think that's changing because we realize we're going to have to be in our house for a lot more time than we used to. So it's like people are fixing. I mean, we see it. Like, my God, at-home floor stores is busier than they ever been. And like all these, I'm
American always doing something in my house now.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are. Like, anything to do with residential, like, is booming right now.
I
because
blew the leaves off my second helicopter pad yesterday.
People are fixing up their houses, but like, you go a long time with the same old cruddy furniture and the same old stuff, and then when you go to the courtyard
by Marriott,
you're like, well, this is nice. Your house, with it doesn't have to be an insane amount of money. You could fix it up a little bit, and it could be a courtyard Marriott. I'm telling you, and the level of that.
I also find it extremely shocking that you cannot say courtyard by Marriott. Like, you are struggling with it, man.
I know.
We'll finish her voicemail because it gets a little gross.
Because we were eating crap food like Doritos and stuff. So
she's going to brush her teeth.
Brush my teeth. So I grab a tube, a white tube. We use Sensodyne. I put it on my toothbrush. I start brushing my teeth, and I'm like, I can't really taste this. Doesn't taste normal, but I've been kind of sinusy. Then after a couple of minutes, it started to, like, burn my mouth. And I ran out of the bathroom and I told my husband, I'm like, Patrick, I have just brushed my teeth with icy hot. And
she was going to say spicy hot. And then she said icy hot.
Yeah.
Now, my question, but now I haven't heard the rest. That's where I stopped it when I was previewing. Here's my first question. Who brings icy hot when you're going on a staycation date? You know what I mean? Hey, we're going on a staycation. No, you don't want to put icy hot on your roids.
I don't know.
That would explode your back. No, this is like Tiger Balm. It's for sore muscles.
Oh, okay.
Who goes on a staycation and then like, oh man, this courtyard by Marriott's got a hell of a gym. I think I'm going to go in there and make some gains.
Yeah.
Who does that?
I had icy hot my muscles. Like, I'm
oh, my arms are sore. Thank God I'm going on this staycation.
Like an old Major League Baseball pitcher. Like, icy hot my arm.
You know what? COVID's got me
You're
down.
right.
Let's go stay at the courtyard by Marriott and smear icy hot on our muscles.
Yeah. That's when you know you're an old man. It's like I've had to send my wife out to CVS to get. I have to sleep with a.
Oh,
this is the oldest. One of the oldest men things.
I love that you do this because I don't have to do this yet.
I have to sleep with what looks like a bowling glove where it keeps my wrist from bending because I got carpal tunnel or something in my wrist that caused them to go on fire at night. So
They call him 10th frame Tommy.
so I have to get this this wrist brace to so that it keeps my arms from curling
Yeah, we
up.
know.
And if I don't have
It's
it,
made by Brunswick.
I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it'll be the most pain ever, and then I won't be able to sleep.
Have you ever had sex with it on?
I take it off.
I'd
do
leave
the
it
courtesy,
on.
Yeah.
I'd leave it on and be like, this robot knows how to pump.
No, I can't grab with it because it's all puffy.
Maybe that'll be kind of fun. Maybe you can only chop.
Yeah, but we've gone to Miami trips and I forgot. I'm like, God, and then you gotta go to CVS and go.
Oh,
pick one up.
you have to buy one?
Oh, well, yeah, because
If
literally,
you don't wear it tonight, will it happen?
Oh yeah, every night now. Yeah. I've gotten to the point.
Oh,
You
man, that's bad.
No,
I'm sorry.
Dude, it's fine. I'm almost 40 and things start to break down.
Oh, I know.
But that's really my only thing that I have going. Like my back, my knees, everything else is fine, or I don't notice.
Yeah.
Most likely I just don't notice. But that one damn thing, the wrist guard, I have to sleep with.
So I thought it was
man.
weird that she brought Icy Hot on her trip.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
continue.
I did. And I rinsed it out. Everything was fine, but it was pretty funny. It was pretty stupid. I'm turning 40 this year, so I feel like it was a senior moment. Ugh, I hate even saying that. But anyway, also, you guys were talking about on the other show about nature's candy and the fruit. My mother, the one I told you about, she did lie to me and tell me raisins were nature's candy. So maybe I'm just kind of a dum-dum. I don't know.
Okay.
I tell my kids that. Like, I tried to pass off dried fruit as candy one time. They knew the difference. They were like, this isn't candy.
Well,
Like,
candy typically doesn't look like a booger snot.
mummy's fingers.
Yeah, well, like raisins. I mean, let's be honest. They don't look appealing.
They didn't look like smooth chocolate-covered candies.
They kind of look like cat turds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, to me.
Here's the problem with the toothpaste, and the same thing that's happened kind of with beers is toothpaste, I feel, used to have a distinct branding. Like it used to be Crest or whatever else.
I like the way you said that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Colgate, Crest,
Yeah.
Aquafresh.
And it was a white tube, and there was some sort of blue, red, and white, like, pattern of like the toothpaste.
Well, yeah, you
like,
knew like the crest, and it used to have a scary
Pyramid.
monster guy on the back of it. It was like a moon, scary moon.
So you could spot a toothpaste tube across the room. You're like, yep, that's toothpaste. Something like Barbasol used to be like that shaving cream. There's certain iconic brands. Same thing
Brute
with
by Fabergé.
Bud Light or like Bud Regular. Like you could spot a Bud Regular can from a mile away. It's like, oh, that guy's drinking a beer. And then the onset of all these different brands and craft brands and stuff.
Yeah.
Like now it's just it's endless.
Do you
and never
remember
know.
when toothpaste did the two-tube gimmick?
Oh yeah. But again, they would use blue and
It was blue on one side and
red.
white on the other, and it
White,
was a
okay.
pump.
Yeah.
And you'd put a refill in it, and it was like, oh, you got to keep the two type. It was a gimmick, but it was like, you got to keep the white separate from the blue, and then when they mix, it has foaming activation powers.
Yeah. It used to be like a
Bunch of S.
like a liquid weld or like any sort of product that you have to.
We got to go to break.
Oh, bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm tough.
Who's got the toughest gums? During the break, Tom and I were talking about toughening your gums, and Tom's like, you got to have to. We say a lot of stuff. It's too tough. Like, Tom, you were dead serious when you told me that, too. You're like, hey, you got to have tough gums.
Yeah. Because I think
I've been toughening my gums. You remember the time I went and I got a cleaning at my dentist.
Yeah.
And I told my hygienist, I said, I'm going to floss every day until I see you again. And she said, no, you're not. And I did it.
Oh, yeah. You're good at those everyday challenges for no reason.
Well, right now I'm not doing very good with the no drinking one. That one's bad. I say I'm going to do it. I reset my counter.
You're doing it every day. It's just a different,
Well, I mean, no, at the end of the day I cave. And then I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
You're drinking every day.
Yes.
So there it is. The everyday challenge.
Yeah, everyday challenge. You're right. You're more positive than I am. And then, so now I'm back doing that. So when I went this last time, they were like, oh, because I have I have a retainer on my bottom teeth that's permanent, and
Nerd.
It's been cemented in.
Ew.
It got knocked through my cheek.
Ew, nerd.
Yeah. And so they cemented it in. So if I don't floss on my bottom teeth, it gets a little, it gets some buildup, some tartar. So I said, I'm going to do it again. So now I'm on my path of doing it again. And I have a dentist appointment coming up in like a month. And I've been doing it again every day. I've been flossing my teeth.
Yeah.
But I've got these new little, they're not floss. They're nubbies. It's like a little wand.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
With green rubber on it.
Yeah.
And you just go, and when you take it through your teeth, it goes,
it's teeth butt plugs.
yeah, it's a tooth butt plug. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. You butt plug your teeth.
Yeah, I butt plug my teeth every night.
Yeah. Because it got little balls from small to big, right?
Yeah. It's like, well, that's not balls. It's like, it looks like a little Christmas tree.
Yeah. It's got the nubbies.
Yeah, it's got like little Christmas tree nubs. Oh, speaking of Christmas trees, we got this voicemail.
Hey, Tom and Dan, it's Curtis, your Christmas tree guy. I was listening to the...
Okay, this is Curtis, the Christmas tree guy that we know from DeLand. Remember,
yeah,
we did a
yeah,
go-to
yeah.
show out there at Curtis C. Or it's 2C's Trees.
Oh, yeah. Then I wanted to do TC's trees across the...
Are we doing that this year? Because we got to get our order in if you want to do it.
Oh, yeah. I guess you got to call North Carolina or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Give us, 10 trees.
How many do you need?
How many do we need? How many people are we expecting? And Curtis, we're going to expect free trees again.
Yeah.
Christmas tree guy. I was listening to the Friday Free Show, and you were talking about rescue scuba divers. Well, my dad's best friend in high school was a rescue diver for the Volusia County Sheriff's Department in like the 70s, and they were searching for a car off of the White Hare Bridge there on 44.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he swam into the open end of a 55-gallon drum. Pitch black. Had nowhere to go.
What do you think?
No, so...
That's it. That's all he says.
So, was it...
I guess he means like a pipe, and he's going into the retention area. And the way he went in was from the...
One end,
the drum, and then, like, I guess you're going in, and you're just going to swim in and not zero visibility?
So, but it was a 50-gallon drum, so like you would hit the end of it. I mean, it's only like what is it?
4 feet tall?
Yeah, 4.5 feet tall. I don't know how tall it is. If you stand up, I'll see you.
You're in a spicy mood today. I like it. I like how playful you are.
Yeah, usually
I think you're minutes away from pulling my pants out and smacking my bare bottom or something. You're very naughty
usually
today.
Butler here. I'll make another.
You're naughty today.
Yeah.
You peed with the door open. You haven't been washing your hands. You went on this whole tirade about how the virus is fake.
I went to Publix.
Yeah, you went to Publix. You walked down every aisle the wrong way.
Here's the
Then
thing.
you got out front. The weirdest part is when you grabbed your balls and yelled, "Go Gators!"
Yeah, I know you're mad about it because I see you walking mad with no mask on. You shouldn't be that mad, right? You've already made this.
Okay.
Why are you mad?
I want to talk about this.
People are mad.
I saw mad
people
old
are,
man.
People are mad old man. They're mad. And it's like,
there's nothing
why are you so
funnier.
mad?
There's nothing funnier than, and I just saw this because I went over there to get a.
And no one's even saying anything to them. You know,
No.
it's like, but they're mad because I think they feel like, oh, they're saying something in their head about me, so I'm gonna be mad about it. Like, you just walk, you do your transaction, walk out.
I went over there to get our caffeine, and there was a dumb old man walking from the parking lot, and he's holding his mask, but it's a doctor's mask. It's like the stretchy and then the ventilated, but the green. You know, the one that everybody has.
Yeah, doctor.
The standard doctor style. And he just held it in his hand. He's mad as hell. And he just walks in, never put it on, just holding it. I laughed and I laughed. Oh, I love it.
It's like,
never put it on.
It's so mad.
Just held it in his hand. Why even bring it in if you're that mad?
Because he's mad because he's already worked up the scenario of someone like confronting him and then him like, being mad about that. So it's like you're pre-mad about your fantasy about someone confronting you or something, something. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it almost is like you
don't quit being so mad.
It's like bait.
Especially you're old too. You don't got that many years left.
Well, the funny thing is like you of all people should probably be wearing that thing, right? I mean, you're very old. So, I mean,
that's the great
irony.
irony of it all. It's like, it's like I'm doing this for you, old man.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I'm fine. I can get the COVID tomorrow.
I've had it twice. I'm good.
Yeah, no problem.
Come over here. I'll give it to you. You want it? You want it? Open your mouth. Open your mouth.
Yeah, you are gonna have maybe an issue.
There you go.
Hello, Tom, Dan, Sam, and Dobson. It's Canadian Josh. I was listening to a corporate time a couple days ago, and somebody called in with a question for me, and this message is to answer that question. He was asking about craft dinner and its cult status as a food in Canada, and I can say myth confirmed. It is huge here. When I was younger, I used to eat the hell out of craft dinner, like maybe up to 3 or 4 times a week. Personally, I don't eat it now. I think it's garbage food. I don't even think it tastes good, but when I was younger, I loved it. My kids love it. I try not to buy it for them, but my wife does, and yeah, they love it. And ketchup. It gets ketchup put on it, and ketchup and pepper seems to be the go-to toppings on stinky craft dinner. But yes, thank you for the question, sir, and myth confirmed. Love you guys. BDM for life.
There you go. Canadian Josh checking in from Canada to tell us that craft dinner is a thing. My only follow-up to that would be, is it sold as craft dinner? Like, does it say on the package craft dinner?
Yeah.
Because I got ours out the other night. Like, I was talking about this with Maisie because she likes craft, and I was
Every
like,
kid likes some mac and cheese.
I was like, in Canada they call this craft dinner, and she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I said they put ketchup and pepper on theirs, and she was like, ew.
But Canadian Josh, you didn't. Is my theory correct? Where you guys like bowls of slop? Because my theory was you like the mac and cheese is similar to the French fries and gravy.
Poontang.
That ends up being like a slop bowl.
Yeah.
Once you pour the gravy on, all the fries get all soggy, and then it's a slop bowl.
I don't like a slop bowl.
So
It's the same reason I'm a fry dipper, not a ketchup on the fries guy.
Yeah.
You ever been to a restaurant where everybody's like, we'll get one fry and share it. And then you got that one guy, the fries come to the table, and they just start hosing the fries down with the ketchup. And I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's always weird. I'm a dipper too.
I'm a fry dipper.
Yeah.
Because I like the consistency of my my frites. I don't like my frites to be soggy. I don't like soggy frites.
Yeah. Plus, you're putting ketchup on the part that I'm going to pick up. That's the whole point of dipping it.
Now I got to use a fork.
Yeah. I'm now
And they're
picking
not
up.
forking frites. They're frites.
I'm putting my fingers in the ketchup. We could have avoided all this nonsense. Just put it on the side. You fools.
Yeah, I agree. Also, ketchup is overused. Like, I think people that use ketchup in everything should be hit in the face.
Yeah. I like ketchup, which leads me to believe.
But just don't use it on everything.
No, I know. It's a sign of lesser intelligence. Where
The ketchup?
Yeah.
It is a dumb person's condiment.
Yeah. And I like it. I'll put it on lots on my French fries.
See, I'm like only one notch higher than you. I'm a salsa guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is,
same thing.
I believe one time I was told that ketchup and salsa are the number 1, and number 2 condiments used worldwide, and salsa is the number 1.
Yeah. Salsa first.
Yep. That's what I say. It's salsa. It's back to front, or is it front to back, so you don't get a yeast infection? Can't remember. What do you think of apples?
Hey guys, random question about apples. Don't know how often y'all eat them, but maybe since you have kids, you've got a few in the house. I probably used to not eat apples very much at all as an adult, and randomly started having them as an after-work snack every day. I have 1 apple. And I was just wondering, do y'all slice your apples like a civilized gentleman, or do you just eat your apple like a barbarian? Probably when I was younger, I used to just eat them, but I find myself slicing every apple that I eat now, and it's definitely better.
No.
I slice my apples. My daughter will eat an apple, like the entire apple, and just hand me the stem.
the core.
Like a pig.
No.
My daughter eats apples like a feral hog.
Yeah.
Like, she'll just hand a stem to me. I'm like, well, where's the core? She's like, what? And I'm like, oh, don't talk about it. Like, I don't say a word about it.
They ate the core.
Yeah, I don't say a word.
I ate an apple the other day because we do buy them because the boys, for a healthy snack or whatever.
They're gross, though.
And I ate it and I was like, I haven't had one of these in a while. But then I was like, what am I, a baby? Why am I eating this apple? Stupid.
Yeah.
I was like, give me a White Claw, whatever.
Eat a McDouble.
yeah.
It's like way better.
And I know this is not healthy for me. It's just sugar, right?
If I eat an apple sliced, like if Andrea slices an apple and she's like, "Do you want one?" Because she treats me like the second baby of the house.
Yeah.
You know, like according to Andrea, there's like a 5-year-old and then there's like a special needs 5-year-old, and I'm the special needs 5-year-old, and she'll be like, "Do you want some apples too?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take some out." You know, and like try to like, "Yeah, okay." And then she'll cut it and she'll put it in a bowl.
Yeah.
And automatically, because it's sliced and in a bowl, I'm like, well, this is for babies.
Yeah.
But if I were to pick up the apple and eat it and just turn the apple eat it, then I feel like I should be like having a discussion with you about something. You're like, "Oh yeah, we need to bond." Like it's like, like that's the way you eat an apple when you're having a business discussion.
Like you're a 1950s greaser. Like you're just eating it.
Or like we're planning a bank heist and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't mind being a driver.
And they are better if they're in the bowl, cold, no
Cold.
skin.
I like a cold apple.
But
though, apples are weird in the fact that if you cut an apple and you turn around, if you turn your back to it, when you turn back around, the apple will be brown like doo-doo. Like magic.
Yeah. Why does it get brown like doo-doo?
You know, why does it do? Guacamole, too.
Yeah.
It shouldn't, I mean, I'm okay with it happening because everything, it happens. But it shouldn't happen that quickly.
Yeah. Except for the McDonald's sized apples, which will stay good forever.
Forever. For eternity.
So what? Make all apples out of that.
My dad used to get McDonald's apples from the Happy Meal, the ones that are in the bag that never turn, and he'd use them to chuck his camper tires because they're indestructible. You could just chuck your tires with them.
Yeah. Also,
what are they made of, those McDonald's apples?
Why is it that everybody who has a fruit tree in their backyard or whatever always grows goddamn fruit that's inedible? And then you're like, oh, you got an apple tree?
Wow, they're rotten apples.
You go over to it and but they're not the good eating ones. Like, they're super tart.
They're just growing apples. They're not eating apples. What do you mean growing apples?
I had the same thing. I had a stupid orange tree in my Deltona house and a grapefruit tree too. And I was like, great, like we could have
fresh fruit. I'm a farmer.
And then I remember when like we got a bunch of oranges one year, and I went back there.
Oh, those are horrible.
And then I was like,
I ate one of those. Your wife tried it. She's like, see, and it was like, it was all.
It's garbage.
Pithy mess.
It tasted disgusting. We had to, she made orange juice. She's like, fresh squeezed orange. I was like, and I was like, this is poison. And she's like, well, hold on. Let me put a bunch of sugar in it. like goddamn ounces of sugar. And I got to mix in some Sunny Delight, dude, to make it. I'm like, well, this is not even in what it's intended to be.
Juan is saying that's what happens when you grow fruit from seed. You need to buy a clone of a good fruit tree.
Yeah. Well, no one does that because everybody ends up with.
You can't plant seeds and grow fruit.
That's why the stupid avocados that Crystal made. She got avocados and then she just grew. Like, remember the seeds?
This has been for years.
They're 8 feet tall right now in my backyard.
Well, give me some avocados.
No, they won't fruit because you can't grow fruiting trees from fruit seeds.
Well, I don't know what that doesn't make sense.
I know.
You can't grow fruit from fruit seeds. Yeah. You got to clone it.
Every single person.
Has it always been that way? I feel like I would have heard that before.
We got 2 Florida avocado trees and 2 Haas avocados, and they won't fruit. Everybody who tells us, they're like, oh, you got those from the supermarket and the seeds? No, they won't fruit. And they were like, and I was like, why, though? Why is it different? They're like, no, I won't do it.
Well, Juan's saying you can grow the fruit, but the fruit will be gross. Then what's the point of growing your own fruit if it's all going to be gross? It's growing fruit. It's not eating fruit.
Yeah.
And you have to clone eating fruit? I don't want to live in this world anymore.
You have to get those sweet Monsanto seeds or whatever they get.
Monsanto? Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They got the good
they
stuff.
Got the good.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah. And you get the wild, these are tiny bananas out of my banana. They're very disgusting.
Wow.
Why is it?
You can ask my wife about the tiny bananas. They've always been disgusting and always will be disgusting.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. During the break, you kind of touched on something that I believe I have a massive affection for, and that is the job where you know that there is an end to it, and
you build
you can
something.
See your progression.
Yeah. There's a I mean, you could even whittle it down to like if you're a lawn guy,
Mowing the
right?
grass, yeah.
Like you show up, the lawn's long, and then when you finish, it's cut and it's aesthetically pleasing.
Sure.
And there's like a finality to that job, which must give you some gratification that all humans like.
I used to be that way with vacuuming.
Yeah. We talked about
My
that before,
dad
yeah.
was a big vacuumer. I'm a big vacuumer. Like, I enjoy the process of, like, I'm not going to say it's like I don't go home and start knocking it out because I love to do it. But if my wife says, hey, we have to dust and vacuum, I'm going to choose vacuum every time.
Yeah. And there's like an aesthetically pleasing finality to it that gives you a sense of accomplishment. And the reason we were talking about is the at-home floor store guys were starting my tile on Monday, so I was there talking to him, whatever, and like they brought in all the insane amount of tile boxes.
It's crazy amount.
And then I'm looking at the house. I'm going to tile my whole house, basically, the master bedroom and the whole kitchen and living room and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I was looking at it, like, my God, this is going to be a lot of work on your knees. Like, this is a real man's work.
Yeah.
But also, I was like, I bet they'll get some sort of sense of gratification when it's done that a lot of people don't get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there has to be, like, and I wonder, maybe they've done it so often that they don't get that, and maybe I'm just yearning for it because I don't have a job like that, and they may be like, dumbass, I wish I had your job. I would rather sit in an AC and talk to my
I think
buddy.
there's a little bit of that, yeah.
But, like, grass is greener. But for me, I'm like, man, I bet they're feel good after it's done. Or at least are they at least gratified that it's like, all right, I saw the beginning and the end, and it's done, and I did this.
And it might be case by case, because I have a buddy of mine from DeLand who does tile work, and I think it's all he does.
Yeah.
And he posts a lot. Like, I can kind of tell that he's into it because
the art of it too.
Yeah, you're right. He's a musician. Like, he knows how to DJ.
Yeah.
He knows how to do small carpentry work, like intricate, like detail work, right?
Yeah. So he's put that into his work.
You can kind of tell, like, even something simple though, like let's say it's a bathroom around the toilet, it's not that he's doing anything that any other people can't do. It's that his attention to detail, like, he takes a lot of pride in making it look like really, really perfect.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's
like all of his cuts are like
pristine,
like
and
amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe that's something we need to instill into, because I don't remember everybody or anybody telling me about like the importance of taking pride in what you do as a job as being like important, because
my dad was real big on that, and it's one of the reasons why I'm. You have to tell me like you can stop working on that, or
well, I'm ruining you.
But Dad was real, but that's fine. But Dad,
everything your dad instilled the goodness. I'm trying to poison out of you.
He's dead now, so now you're the influence. It's just like Star Wars, right? When the good guy dies, the bad guy influences you. Pretty soon you're burning alive in a fire with your helmet on, and you're telling some kid you're his father.
Yeah.
He might have been delirious. That may not have even been true. It's just like between the fire and everything.
Like, I look nothing like you, disgusting blob.
Between the fire and the lack of oxygen.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Your face is off-putting, disgusting.
If you weren't in a robot body, you'd be fat, I think.
Yeah. Why is your face fat? Like, why is your robot
How come
body?
Nobody ever fat shamed Darth Vader because he's a big blob. He's a fat blob man.
Is your robot body feeding you too much? Like, you could change the settings on that, right? Like, or are you overeating?
Normally, when people eat it, a lot it goes to like for men it goes to your T's or your love handles. You have a big fat Darth Vader face, like you have bulldog jowls.
Yeah, like you should be perfectly trim. Because your robot body
How
is giving
tall
you...
are you? What is he, like 6'5"?
Also, do you even need nutrients? Doesn't your robot body take care of all that?
How come your skin isn't peeling off? I mean, is that a face transplant? Did they take a robot and stick a fat guy's face on it? Or is it...
Why is it even retaining the fat?
Yeah.
Shouldn't
your helmet be bigger?
Uh-oh, COVID. Stupid. Yeah.
I don't even know what we were talking about.
Me neither.
Now I'm obsessed with thinking about Darth Vader being fat.
Yeah.
Because I think he was.
Juan, call him.
Yeah, Juan. I want to know why Darth Vader, when he's burning alive and he's got his mask off, and then and then his son, what's his son's name? Luke. And Luke's like, let me help you with that. And they take the helmet off. Yeah.
and the face mask was how he was able to breathe too, right?
Yeah, that's why they knew by taking the mask off he'd die.
Okay, so what?
And he's like, I want to see you with my big fat eyes. Right?
What part of his body? Okay, so was his whole internal organs and everything still in there? Or
No.
Did the robot was?
I think it was full
it was just
android,
brain.
his android body, and then fat head with big brain.
Okay, then why didn't he even need oxygen? He didn't have any lungs. It was the. You know what I'm saying? Like
maybe they had artificial lungs in there that would be to help power his skin.
If it's artificial lungs, that you could just suck the oxygen from anywhere, and then this is gonna be difficult. I can't say it. I was gonna oxygenate. Oh God damn it.
Oxygenate.
I can't say infuse
I don't know what
oxygen into their blood.
You just did.
Yeah, no, I know, but there's that Porky Pig.
Oxygenate?
Yeah. I cannot say that word.
Just pretend it's a guy named Nate.
Oxygen Nate. All right.
Now I'm helping you. You're corrupting me, but I'm helping you.
This segment.
Hey, what'd you guys do on the show today? I taught Tom how to say oxygenate. Thanks for calling the word hotline. This is Dan speaking. Oh, hold on. Wrong button. Thanks for calling word hotline. This is Dan speaking.
Did Tom really ask why does he need oxygen? He doesn't have lungs.
Yeah, because we think he's a robot body with a big fat head.
No, but I'm just saying.
We're talking about Darth Vader and whether or not, because his face looks really fat.
If it's a robot body feeding blood to his brain so his brain can do the computing, then can its robot body just infuse the oxygen into the blood to go to his brain? Why does he have to breathe it?
He's not total robot. He's just robot arms and legs, and then basically robot lungs too, because Obi-Wan Kenobi chops off all his limbs, and then he breathes in a bunch of lava, and then that's all that's left is disgusting charcoal body, and the rest is robot.
So his torso.
How did his big fat egghead survive?
It was why is he fat? Is he eating too much?
Eat Darth Maul?
He's just old. He doesn't really look fat.
Oh, he looks fat.
Yeah. I mean, he's there's old skinnier guys.
He's got an obese head.
You think for being more.
You can't even see the bottom half of it.
Oh, I can see it. That's why, and I guarantee you, they put the part of his costume that goes up under his chin. They made that wide.
Oh,
I offended him. How dare you? You're not gonna call Darth Vader fat. I'll cancel you. What if I got canceled for that?
He doesn't have the discipline to not overeat. You know what I'm saying? You'd think that it would just be food would just be pure fuel.
I'm looking at this picture, and he is fat.
Couldn't you?
Oh wait, okay. Here's a.
Well, no, yeah, that's
a rendering. That's not even real.
If they made him look anyway. Sorry. All right. What were we talking about?
I don't know what we were talking about. We were talking about jobs where we like to see the end
Oh,
result.
yeah.
That got us on Big Fat Darth Vader.
Yeah. So anyway, the tile guys, I wonder if there's just some sort of gratification for the end of the job and it being like, you know what, I did this.
I think I have another Darth Vader question.
Okay.
So he's big fat, right? Old man.
Yeah.
He inhaled a lot of lava. Is that? And you guys want me to believe that?
No. Well, that's. Well, didn't he fall? That's how he did.
We got apparently Obi-Wan Kenobi chopped all his arms and legs off.
Oh, yeah. There's a young Darth Vader.
Yes.
In that movie. Yeah. So, they chopped his arms and legs off, and then he inhaled
some lava.
Some gas, some probably noxious gases from the lava and caused some damage or whatever. And then, so he had, android arms and legs.
Can he make his android arms and legs better by training? Or are they at birth as good as they're going to be? Because the Twitch chat room is kind of saying, oh, well, he's just an old man. Technically, he's not, because his android body would be brand new.
Well, yeah, he's stronger than a regular old man.
Couldn't he keep updating his android body all the time? And wouldn't you want that? It's just like my iPhone.
Yeah.
When I sleep, it does, system updates.
Why even have human arms and legs? You have a hover chair or some sort of
I think Juan's calling back.
Okay. Oh.
Thanks for calling the word hotline. Today's word is oxygenate.
So, sorry, I thought you guys hung up on me before.
No, we didn't. But
basically,
okay.
The Emperor made his robot body, but he made it super crappy so that it would hurt him constantly, and it would make him stronger in the dark side.
Makes sense.
So it's like he purposely put a rock in his shoe and his
Yes,
something
exactly.
to torment him so that he'd constantly be angry and then be more evil.
Yes, that's exactly correct. And the only time he could take his suit off was when he was in his little black orb thing that you see in the original movies. And that's because it had a back-to-air environment. Bacta's like the medicine in Star Wars.
Now
he could take his helmet off and be normal for a few moments. But he hated being inside the suit.
So he goes inside. Could he ever come out of the suit? Did he have pajamas?
No, he'll die. If he takes the suit off, he'll die unless he's in his little orb situation or the weird Bacta tank you see in his castle in Rogue One.
Is he the boss? Because I feel like you'd be like, hey, make me a goddamn more comfortable suit here.
Dumb old man.
No, the Emperor is the boss.
Okay, see, I don't know the Star Wars nerds.
Yeah, but if you got a robot suit, I feel like eventually I'm gonna kick this Emperor down a toilet hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens at the end of the movie.
Oh,
he kicks him down a toilet hole.
Yeah, and he explodes.
Hold on,
he gets tired of the suit.
That just shows you that Star Wars is badly written because Daniel just made some stupid joke and that's exactly what happened.
I just watched it.
So you knew? I feel like you just made that up right now.
I did just make that up because every time I watch Star Wars, I have no idea what I'm watching. I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. I'm just watching this because people say it's cool.
Why not give him a, flying, like an Iron Man type of,
way better.
Because then Darth Vader would just chop off his head because he basically killed Darth Vader. He thought he killed his wife. But he was enslaved to him if it wasn't for the suit.
So the suit was more of a
controlling technique.
A controlling, servant type of hey, I'm going to make... Okay, all right.
All right, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I like you, big fat Darth Vader.
Still doesn't explain why you overate, why you have big jowls. You seem like you're miserable all the time.
I think that's just poor casting. They should have cast somebody that didn't look quite as heavy because somebody that's going to be wearing that suit and tortured with no nutrients is going to be about as big around as an AIDS patient, right?
Yeah, you're skinny AIDS face.
I think that they kept the guy in the suit as the actor because they replaced his voice with James Earl Jones, and he got super pissed off about it. And so George Lucas was like, here's a bone. You can be on screen for
makes sense.
30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So
that makes sense.
So everybody remember your big flat blob face and be disgusted by it. Good job, old man.
Hey, see that big fat blob? That's me. That's me.
Hey, I'm disgusted.
Watch, I'm burning alive. All right, thanks.
You should listen to the original voice cut. His voice sounds like the Doc Brown from Roger Rabbit or whatever that guy's name was. Judge Doom.
Oh, like a high pitch.
That's what the original voice sounds like.
Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah. I'm glad they changed it. So, if I saw that, you're like, you ruined it.
You don't want to use Gilbert Godfrey as the voice of Darth Vader. All right, Juan, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, see you later.
All right, man. See ya. We waste a lot of his time.
Yeah.
Doing stupid stuff. You want to do a couple voicemails?
Yeah.
Because they pile up. Let me look through my voicemail book. How about, let's try this one. Somebody was concerned about the lack of, cleaning products during quarantine.
Okay.
Hey, Tom, Dan, Samantha, and Butler. This is Sal from Ohio. Dan, I was wondering if you ran into a complication trying to find disinfecting wipes. You had mentioned that between guests you would always be sure to kind of disinfect the studio, wipe down the headphones, the microphones. I noticed that there was a big shortage because of COVID about the disinfecting wipes. I wonder if that affected your anxiety at all. If you weren't able to disinfect the studio like you normally would have. This is your nerdy question of the day.
No, we were actually okay here, and
Well, less guests too.
yeah,
so
we weren't really having any guests.
Kind of solves the problem. Like Daniel would disinfect the microphone, our guests would be on all the time. No guests, less disinfecting.
Yeah,
you know,
true. I still do it. Like when Seth and people come in, I do it because I know it means something to them, and I try to be respectful to people that come in here if they drop by.
Yeah.
Your mic and my mic are really and Sam's are really the only two that now primarily get cleaned. And for ours, I use real soap. I don't use disinfectant wipes because it would probably deteriorate the foam, like the P-Pop filter that we have on here.
Yeah.
So I really just use soap, and then I rinse them with water, and then I let them dry overnight, and then when I come in the morning, I pop them back on. Saves you money, too, because these are Shure SM7Bs, and these particular this little piece of foam right here is like $28.
Yeah.
Which is stupid expensive.
I think everybody had like an education on how we distribute products in the United States based on this whole COVID thing, because we saw like if you disrupt the normal demand chain and supply chain.
Don't say supply chain. Well, that's one of those words. Doesn't that sound terrible?
Yeah.
It sounds like when people are like, the supply chain's breaking, I'm like, oh my God, we're all dead, right? That sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Well,
these are terms that we don't typically kick around.
But it's like any business is only going to produce what they sell based on the history of their sales, right? So they're like, all right, we're projected to sell 1 million units of, hand sanitizer. We will produce 1 million units, maybe a little more, because each year we want to sell more. Obviously, a normal corporation wants to have gains, and so there's an element of like, we want to sell 10% more this year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then when you buy up everything, they're like, oh, we need to create way more, but you've already disrupted the chain. So then there's a lag in them producing more. Now, I don't know if you've seen, but the shelves are stock full of hand sanitizer, and every single Facebook ad is another mask or one. Saying like the supply chain has now been fulfilled, and now we have plenty of all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny that people were freaking out that, like, I'll never see another piece of toilet paper again, or there'll never be hand sanitizer again. And it's just like, because we're so used to it always being there.
I had friends that completely swore to it. Like, I have a friend that said, this isn't going to happen to me again. I'm going bidet only.
Okay. Oh, it's wore off toilet paper?
And bought all the bidets and put them on all the toilets of their house, and then and I'm like, okay, well, that's good for you. I mean, I'm glad, hey, you're cutting down on waste. That's good.
But it's funny because you're like, there's none here now. It'll never be here again.
Right.
Because it's like, your mind goes, believe me, it's like, listen, the things that are important to me, the THC and White Claw, I started buying a lot of that because I was like, I can't run out of this, but why would I? Unless there was an apocalyptic type scenario.
Sure.
And then who cares? What do you have, 3 weeks to supply, and then you're dead to lose. So it's just like, it'll be there.
Let's try.
So you can find disinfectant wipes now too, right?
Yeah.
I never looked for them.
I have found those. I mean,
now.
people at first when, because we live in Florida, for those of you that are listening out of state, most of you that listen are in state. I mean, that we're dealing with COVID and battling it and have had more of a tough time than most places. We're sort of a hotbed of it, and people are still picking and choosing. Like some days when I go over to Publix, there's no toilet paper, and some days when I go over there's tons. Like it's not gone fully.
You also bring up another funny thing that we've talked about this before, like when someone says like, they battled cancer. They're, and this is true. I'm not dismissing. Just listen.
Well, Darth Vader battled obesity,
but it's like, you battled it by just like sitting in a bed and you're getting your chemo treatments, and it was like,
cancer. If I battle cancer, the cancer to me is just going to consume my body,
and
right?
Then it's like when we were like, we battled COVID here in Florida. It got bad. It's like I wore a mask to Home Depot and I went home.
Okay, so
the term battle is like a little exaggerated.
Well, the other one we use is front lines. Like he's a first responder. He's on the front lines. It's like, is he? I like what you want to diminish everything.
Is he running?
Yeah, I like it.
Is he running at a German machine gunner that is trying to mow him down?
I also like that you're talking about COVID and you called it German machine. Yeah.
Is he swimming through barbed wire and while they're trying to mow him down? Or is he just wearing a mask and 7-Eleven, then you go home?
That's what I do. I wear a mask.
It's funny. That's all we need to do, technically. Like, hey,
I wear a mask when I get my
face.
breakfast taquitos. I am a first responder on the front lines, and I'm badly COVID. Okay, so
yeah,
stolen valor.
We give you a lot of credit. Like a lot of battling going on, but Jenga's gone here. Come on.
And by the way, a lot of people have written to me saying that you incorrectly pronounced the word Jangus, and I have to tell them
that's how it's supposed to be.
That is how it's supposed to be said.
Yeah, I've learned it
Cue
from
the theme music for
hardcore history.
Yeah.
That's where I learned that it's not Jangus
or Genghis.
Genghis, it's Jangus. Yeah. That's
in the same way, the movie Django Unchained should be called Gango Unchained. A lot of people don't know that.
Which is a porno.
Let's finish with this one, then we'll take a break.
Hey, Tom and Dan, it's Steve in Richmond. Just wanted to make a question of the day here. Make the bed. I would assume that Dan, your wife, being as organized as she is, probably makes the bed every morning as part of her routine. And I bet the Van household, the bed's never made unless maybe they have company, like at my house. We're fairly clean people, I think, but definitely do not make our bed unless people are coming over.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go.
If I remember correctly, this guy's incorrect in the fact that I believe your wife always makes the bed, does she not?
Nah.
Didn't she go through a phase?
She tried, but she's like me a little bit. So
yeah.
There's a bad life.
I'd never make my bed, and I haven't made my bed in 10 years.
After you get out, like
no, I leave the. I mean, even if the fitted sheet, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I swear to God.
Does Andrew do it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Even if we think it's a waste of time, we both agree that is a giant waste of time. Like, even if the fitted sheet from just us wallowing or tossing and turning, if it comes up off the corners and pulls into the center of the bed, we'll just leave it like that and then fix it right before we go to bed.
You have the luxury in the way your house is set up where if you had company,
no one would see it.
They're going to be in your second floor where your kitchen and living room is, right? Yeah. And then your third floor, that's where your bedrooms are. So no one would be up there just wandering around.
Fourth floor is the exercise room. Fifth floor is the first helicopter pad.
We know.
Sixth floor is the plant room. Seventh floor is the planetarium. Eighth floor is the Hooters. Yeah. It's not open right now. We're remodeling. Adding some vegetarian options.
And in our house, like if you're standing in the kitchen, you could look, if our door's open, you could see our bed. So we have even more reason to make our bed.
Hey, can I see Sophie butt?
No, you'd have to go into the bathroom.
And it's around to the right or to the left?
To the right.
Yeah. Now I know. When I send my drone through. I'm a
you
fly
can
a
go look
drone.
at it. Crystal will let you look at it. That's fine. And then
will she let me? You know.
What? We get to it. Yeah. We're like, give him 2.
I need a Darth Vader moment here. I need to take my helmet off.
Give him 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I need to. I'm gonna tell this piece of tissue paper that my. No, I'm not going to say that.
It's gonna sound like he's working out and stomping watermelons and everyone's just ignore
stomping watermelons doesn't sound like that. My God, sir, you're giving me a lot of credit. Well, let's take a little break and we'll come back and do more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.